Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another anime review. And today I'm going to share my thoughts on the 7th Bleach Blu-ray set, which contains episodes 168 to 195. And it's mostly the filler arc called the New Captain Shosuke Amagai arc, which is the first three or so, well it is the first 3 discs, and then 2 or 3 episodes from disc 4. And then we get 5 episodes continuing the Arrancar arc. And, you know, I was very favorable of the Bount arc, which was placed well in that it was right after the Soul Society and before the Arrancar arcs. So, you know, it didn't really mess up the canon. But where we left off, Ichigo had defeated Grimmjow and seemingly saved Orihime. But we still have unresolved battles in Hueco Mundo. You know, we have Uryu and Renji still fighting Xayalopro. There's been no winner in that fight yet. We had Chad, who just defeated Gatabine, but after his fight was ambushed by Noitora and stabbed lying on the ground. So what's going on with Chad? And then with Rukia, she had defeated Arenero, but at the same time was delivered a fatal blow and is also lying on the ground defenseless. So, you know, there's a lot still going on in Hueco Mundo. But because Bleach, back in the day, you know, animes were constantly running, no breaks whatsoever. I think the Bleach anime went like 10 years constantly going for 366 episodes. So the manga was still being written, and they had to do this every once in a while to, pretty much with the Bound arc especially, there was 14 months with filler episodes before the main story continued. So there were these little breaks sprinkled in throughout, and, you know, it breaks up the story. It's not terrible. Like, if I were doing this filler arc, because it mainly revolves around the Captain Shosuke Amagai, I wouldn't have included Ichigo or any of them in this whatsoever, because what happens is it goes back to Karakura Town, and, you know, Ichigo, Orihime, they're all back home. With the main plot, they're trying to rescue Orihime from Hueco Mundo. So, in terms of, like, the actual story, it really doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit well. But, you know, you can look at this as, like, a side story, I guess. It would have worked a lot better if it just focused on the captains, I feel, but that's another story. So, we got Yoruichi on the cover, which is great. You know, gotta love her. And then on the back, I love this, man, with Ichigo with his hollow mask. What a badass this dude is. And then also some images in the back here, which are more related to the continuation of the Arrancar arc, because this is like major spoilers. I saw this when I first saw this, because I was watching Bleach blind. I'm like, God damn, they're spoiling everything for me, because as you can see right here, we have a grown-up Nell, and we'll get to her towards the end of this review, because that's, you know, the later episodes, but look at her, man. Then we have Yoruichi up top, we have Rukia and Izuru, and then there's Shosuke Amagai, the new captain of Squad 3. And then I wanted to show you guys this, too. I should have shown these off in the other reviews, but they have this promo here to read the Bleach manga, and just look at how much of a Chad Ichigo is. Look at this dude, right? We got Ichigo, and then there's also an ad for Dr. Stone, but also a great illustration of Yoruichi there from the anime, and they have these quotes in here too. Though the motives might differ, there's no difference in the desire to protect something. Gotta love the inspirational quotes. But yeah, basically what happens here is we meet some new characters. You know, in the very beginning of the series, when Aizen betrayed everybody, he took Gin and Kaname with him, so there's 3 vacant captain spots, and they sort of alluded to this earlier in the series too with Ikkaku, and that Yumichika said, oh, you know, Bankai, you should be a captain. And Ikkaku's like, no, I'm a member of Zaraki's squad no matter what. So with this filler, you know, they got to fill the vacant spots, and they come across Shosuke Amagai, who becomes the captain of Squad 3. Naturally, that's why we have Izuru there, because Izuru is the lieutenant, and that was Gin's former squad. And there's a bit of aminosity there, because Amagai brings this other guy named Makoto Kibune, who ends up being the 3rd seat, and they sort of hint that he might be the villain, but then we meet some other characters which are definitely villainous. And there's all sorts of schemes going on, and like I said, it would have felt better if it just focused on the captains, but then a few episodes later, it goes back to Karakura Town and Ichigo, and we meet these other characters, Rorichio, Enryu, and Kenryu, who go in Karakura Town, and they're all, you know, Soul Reapers as well. Well, the 2 guys are. Rorichio is not. She's like a princess of the kingdom. So they also establish that there's like royalty in the Soul Society and stuff like that, and she's trying to flee that area. And there are cute moments back at home. I do love Ichigo's whole home life with his father, Ishin, and his sisters, Karin and Yuzu, and how cute they are, and especially with Ishin, how he just barges in, he does the, "Good morning, Ichigo!" And then he, like, tries to, like, dive on top of the bed and give Ichigo a hug, and he's always avoiding him. Like, there's a famous quote from early on in the series, when he wakes him up that way, and Ichigo's like, "Oh, what kind of father does this to his son? Wakes him up like that?" Like, just the way he says it is hilarious. But I love Ishin. I love, like, the whole main Karakura town squad of, you know, Ichigo, Orihime, Oryu, Chad, and then Ichigo's family. And I do like the comfy vibes there, because it is nice to get a break every once in a while from the constant battles. Although, my criticism, like I just mentioned before, how it breaks up the Arrancar arc, and the fact that Orihime's back home is like, or that they're all back home anyway, it's just goofy. So what happens is they figure out this Mauricio, who's this cute little girl, and how she's running away from the royalty, and she has her bodyguards Kenryu and Enryu, and Kenryu is like this badass Soul Reaper dude, but Enryu is this other guy, her bodyguard, that doesn't say much, and he just sort of like fronts and makes these faces, and he wears sunglasses too. And there's a funny scene when he releases his Shikai, where I can't understand what the hell he's saying, because he's like, "Rah, rah, rah," in his high-pitched voice, but it was making me laugh when he releases Shikai eventually. So they're trying to run away, and then they figure out that they're Soul Reapers, and these assassins arrive and start causing havoc. And it's kind of funny because the one assassin, let me get his name. I have some tabs that I'll show you later, but his name is Hanza Nukoi. And he shows up, and he's in the opening, which is kind of funny because he gets defeated early on, and you don't see him again. Like, he's like a jobber character, and I just find it funny that he's in the opening, when the big bad of this whole arc ends up being Amagai, the new captain. Obviously, he's not going to stay around and be the captain because he's not in any other episodes, and this is just filler. And his whole story is he's getting revenge for his brother, who Yamamoto supposedly killed, but all in good reason. And ends up being a big battle at the end there. But also, there's more conspiracy going on, that Mauricio is being kidnapped, and then Ichigo's to blame. Which, blaming Ichigo, this guy has saved you guys countless times, and you're attacking him, and there's like a thing with Byakuya and Soifon attacking him. It's like, come on, we already established that Byakuya and Ichigo are friends now. Same thing with Soifon. I mean, kind of goofy, but it's an excuse to see the other captains battle and stuff. And then Kenpachi's going to town too. Like, he shows up and he's just like, "Hey, Ichigo, I want to fight you." So there's all that. So overall, for the filler, I guess it's fine. It's definitely the weakest of all the filler, especially in the fact that it takes away from like the big battle that was going on the Arrancar arc. So this is going to be a shorter video than I did last week for sure. But going back to the Arrancar arc, what happens is, Ichigo defeated Grimmjow, and it recaps that again because this is like 20 episodes or so. I think it was like 26 episodes. So it recaps what Ichigo did defeating Grimmjow, and we get the famous line from Orihime again, like, "Please don't die, Ichigo!" Which I love that line. I get goosebumps every time I say it. And then Ichigo is embracing Orihime and Nell. However, it also shows, Noitora just attacked Chad, and then he shows up because Grimmjow's, he's defeated, but he actually gets up again. He's like, "I won't be defeated by you, Ichigo. No way!" And then Noitora shows up and cuts him and kills Grimmjow. And he has like this awesome looking death scythe looking thing. He's wearing an eye patch. Noitora just looks like an absolute creep, man. And he starts taunting Ichigo, beating the crap out of him because Ichigo's so weak from his battle with Grimmjow. And, Grimmjow is the Six Espada. And Noitora's like, "Ha! You barely defeated the Six Espada. What makes you think you can defeat me?" And he sticks his tongue out, and that's where his number is, and he's the Fifth Espada. And it's like, holy fuck, dude. And just the way he did it, it was like, oh my god, this guy is fucked up. And so he starts beating the ever-living crap out of Ichigo. And then, it shows Zumari Ruru, the Seventh Espada, shows up, and he appears before Rukia. How I mentioned earlier, Rukia defeated Arenero, right? And he's like, "Oh, it seems Arenero has been defeated. Are you the one who did it?" And, Rukia's lying there all defenseless. She can't do anything because she was stabbed in her battle as well. And he's ready to kill her. He's like, oh, it is a shame you shall die, nameless Soul Reaper woman. So you got that. And then also we continue the battle with Scialopero against Uryu and Renji, who are trying their best, but Scialopero releases his Resurrection form, where he becomes this crazy mad scientist, and he has like this contraption where he has all these things labeled, which are Uryu and Renji's organs and bones and shit. And he starts like breaking them and snapping them, and just like the grimacing, their pain that they're going through, and all this crazy stuff. And we get also some gag moments with Pesce and Donda Chaka, because Pesce, he was the goofy guy who was going around like, oh, Ichigo, calling Uryu Ichigo, and he was running around in a loincloth, like the whole arc. That's just what his outfit is. And Scialopero clones him, except the clones are wearing pants, and he's like, what are you doing wearing pants? It was just a funny scene, which I loved. So what eventually happens is Ichigo is being tormented by Noitora, just being pushed around, getting his ass kicked. And Noitora sees Nell, and he's like, Nell, what are you doing here? Look at you. And, Nell's this defenseless little girl. And then we get, like, the recap of Nell's backstory on how she was actually an Espada, formerly the third Espada, and transforms back to her normal form and starts beating the ever-living hell out of Noitora. And then that's when we learn that Noitora was the one who cursed her. Him working with Scialopero cursed her, turned her back into a child, and cast her out of Hueco Mundo. It shows them in the past dueling. And I think at that time, Noitora was Espada number 7. And he was just, how can I lose to a woman? What is the meaning of this? And Nell, like, being all respectful and honorable, like, being one of the more honorable of the Espada. Which, later on, we learn, the Espada, in my opinion, aren't really all that bad. They have their reasons for doing what they do. And Nell is being an exceptional case. But of her transformations, he starts beating the shit out of him. And I gotta tell you, dude, Nell is hot as hell. She is definitely the best Bleach girl at this point, in my opinion. And beating the ever-living crap out of him, releasing Zero. I mean, just going to town on this guy. And then he's taunting her as well, like, oh, I've grown stronger. You may be number 3, but that was back then, and this is now. And then she does her Resurrection form, where she turns into like a centaur, and it's like, holy fuck, and she has this lance, and as she's ready to deliver the finishing blow, her time runs out, and she turns back into a child. And then Noitora starts beating the crap out of her again, and his Fracciones Tesla shows up doing his Resurrection, turning into like this giant minotaur, and he's ready to stomp on Ichigo, when all of a sudden something stops the minotaur from stomping on Ichigo, and it's Kenpachi. Kenpachi shows up, and he's like, you're in rough shape, aren't you, Ichigo? And it's like, holy fuck, the Soul Reapers have come to the rescue. And the Soul Reapers that have come to the rescue, which is so fitting for who they're rescuing. We have Kenpachi and Yachiro, of course, going to the aid of Ichigo. We have Byakuya and Hanataro Yamada going to the aid of Rukia. We have Retsu Unohana and her lieutenant Isane going, Kotetsu, I believe her name is Isane Kotetsu, of Squad 4, rescuing Chad. And then, best of all, we have Mayuri and Nemu going to rescue Uryu and Renji, and it's fucking awesome. I love that reveal there, and I loved, like, how awesome it was, like, which captains they chose to rescue each character. Like, the past with Kenpachi and Ichigo, how they're become friends, and how Mayuri battled Uryu way back when. Unohana being there, of course, because she's a healer, and then Byakuya going to rescue his sister. I thought that was great. And this Blu-ray ends excellently with a great cliffhanger, ready for the next one. And can't wait to talk about that one, because there's a lot of stuff, particularly the Turn Back the Pendulum arc, where we learn more about the Vizards and their past. So, now I've discussed that. I know I focus more on, like, the 5 canon episodes in the filler, but that's just because the filler, it's filler, man. Who the fuck cares? But I got it covered because I've covered all the Blu-rays. So we'll start here, and I'll show you once again how with, how it aired weekly, right? we have April 16th, and then April 25th, and it just kept going and going and going. So, you have all these canon episodes, and then all this filler to pad it out from when? From April to October, to give Kubo enough time to get more chapters. And then that's when we get Waco Mundo chapter restart. So, you got all that stuff. Here's Shosuke Amagai. Was he voiced by anybody we know? Voiced by Rick Zief. I'm not really too sure. So there's that. This is the guy in the opening, Hanzu Nukia, who, him being in the opening makes you think he's going to be the villain of the arc, but he just shows up, and that's that. And he's voiced by Tony Oliver, the same guy who voices Ulquiorra. So, and then this guy's voiced by Kirk Thornton. He's also one of the other villains who shows up and, causing all sorts of problems. So, we get some good stuff with Toshiro and Rangiku. And Toshiro's always yelling at Rangiku. She's just a bit of a klutz. And he's like, you need to do all this paperwork, woman. What are you doing here? So, you gotta love that. And here's Yamamoto. Genryusa Yamamoto. We are holding the 13 Court Guard Squad meeting. So, they got all that going on. And in the beginning, because he brings along this guy named Makoto, Izuru's like, what's the meaning of this? So, again, back home, it makes no sense just because we're in Waco Mundo, but let's go back. And especially, Rukia's like lying on the ground bleeding. And then she's back here. Holy shit. But these are the new characters as well. We have Riruchio. That's how you say her name. I can't even talk. Riruchio, Kenryo, and Enryo. And Enryo, like I said, he doesn't say anything. He just makes these weird expressions. But when he releases Shikai, it was hilarious because he's mumbling something. I didn't know what he was saying, but it was great. And actually, these characters appear later on in a filler episode where they play soccer, which I thought was a hilarious filler episode, which we'll get to later in one of the later Blu-rays. So it's cool to see him have the school stuff, and of course Cohen. Hey, it's me, Cohen! I love Cohen, man. He's a great character. Apparently people don't like Cohen, but I think he's cool. So there they are, fighting one of the assassins. We see Chad in action. And not really too much going on. Let's see. Yeah, eventually Amagai starts attacking everybody. He becomes the big villain. And he uses this thing called a Bakoto, which is a Zanpaku toe that sucks out his spirit energy and sort of becomes one with him. There's Ichigo in his hollow mask. Always gotta love that. But see how his Zanpaku toe becomes one with him and it's draining his power. And he's trying to kill Yamamoto as well to get revenge because he thinks Yamamoto killed his brother. So overall, there's cool battles. And then at the end, he kills himself, accepting that he did wrong, and that's that. So, it is what it is. It's filler. So this just gives us the recap. And then Grimmjow is ready to attack Ichigo, but Noitora comes in with his scythe. And, look at this dude. Look at this guy's weapon. And then Ichigo can't really defend himself too well because, he just fought a grueling battle against Grimmjow. And there he is again. He's got the eye patch on. And he recognizes Nell. Oh, shit. That's some spoilers for later. Uh-oh. We'll get to that. I love the name of this episode, too. Nell's Secret. A big-breasted beauty joins the battle. So, Nell turns back to her normal form, and she is hot as hell, let me tell you. And fights Noitora and puts him down for a little while. And there's this cute scene where she's like, "Are you okay, Ichigo?" And starts hugging him. But she's so powerful because she's the third Espada. So she just has all this untapped potential. And she's like crushing Ichigo. And Orihime's like, "No, that's too much. Don't hug him so hard." It's such a cute scene, man. I love it so much. Nell, oh my god, she's great. I love Orihime's face as well. Oh my goodness. So what else do I have? This is the funny scene where he's like, "What am I doing wearing pants?" Because he's got his loincloth on over there. Look at Don Chaka's face, like, "What are you doing wearing pants?" It's fucking hilarious, man. And this is Sayalaparo in his resurrection form. And he has, like, voodoo dolls of everybody. And in opening them, has, like, their stomach, their bones, and all this shit, and starts breaking them. Beating the crap out of them. And here's Nell fighting Noitora again. And then we get the backstory about Nell's past. And you see like a shadowy figure of Pesce and Don Chaka in their more human-like forms. Because they were cursed to stay in their hollow forms now. Because obviously Nell looks like a human. That's also why Nell has the mark on her. Is there a better picture of Nell? Let's see if we can find one. We'll just go to Nell's image gallery. But this is her in the past. See, she's wearing like the clothes that they're all wearing, and Noitora has a bit of a different look, where they're dueling. And this is when he cursed her. He stabbed her in the head, gave her that mark. Let's see if I can find the scar. Yeah, see how she has this mark on her head where she was stabbed with by Noitora? But again, dude, she's fucking beautiful, man. She really is. But really a cruel life that she had, where she had to wander around Waco Mundo with Pesce and Don Chaka. And I love that there was a quote with Pesce and Don Chaka where they both said, "You know, we'll have to protect her for the rest of our lives. We have to do everything we can to protect the Lady Nell." I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that backstory there. And this is Nell releasing her Zanpakuto to turn into a resurrection form. Oh. Which is this right here. She turns into like a centaur. And as she's ready to attack, and also Pesce releases his Zanpakuto to fight Sayalaparo. But as she's ready to attack, you know, she uses so much power, she turns back into a little girl. And this is when Tesla, that's Noitora's Frazione, is ready to stomp Ichigo, and Kenpachi with the save, he's like, "You're in rough shape, huh, Ichigo?" So, I talked about episode 196, because before I did this video, I thought this went up to 196, but it went up to 195, which I've seen 196, obviously. I'll just show you this anyway, because I thought it was badass. We have Kenpachi showing up to face Tesla and Noitora. We have Unohana and Isane showing up against Rudabarn, and also rescuing Chad to heal him. Yachiro saying, "Okay, Ichi, you gotta stand down. Kenny will take care of this. Kenny's got it." I love Yachiro, her nickname. She's so freaking cute, man. And she's the lieutenant, meaning second in command to Kenpachi. This little girl, showing you how tough she is. Mayuri, my man. I love Mayuri, man. Like, this dude is awesome. And then Byakuya facing off against Zumari Ruru. And there was a cool moment, too, with Byakuya where he's wearing his captain's coat. And, like, this guy is supposedly the fastest. He's like Birder from Dragon Ball Z. I have the fastest Sonido in all of the Espada. And he can make, like, 5 different versions of himself. And there's, like, a fucking badass moment where Byakuya does Hado, number 4, Byakurai. And like, he does it underneath his coat. And the beam goes through it, and like he takes it off and disappears. And it was just such a fucking badass scene. I love Byakuya's voice actor too. The way he enunciates the words, he does it so well. Like, there's the other one, Hado, number 33, so cut sweet. And then the way he says Bankai, Bankai, Senbon Zakura, Kagayoshi. Like, the way he says it is so fucking badass. So, I love this show, man. Bleach is amazing. This video actually ended up going longer than I expected. But, not really much to say the filler. The filler is the filler. Definitely the weakest of all the filler arcs, but it is what it is. And I can't wait to talk about Blu-ray number 8 next week, which let me just get it real quick and show you the cover to get you hyped. So, next week's review, Blu-ray 8, we got Shinji Harako, the Visored. And, dude, look at the attention to detail here. You see Shinji, right? Watch this, ready? Shit, it's his visored hollow mask. What a badass. And I love this. My boy Mayuri. And then the visors as they appear, the turn back the pendulum arc, which, good stuff. But Bleach is amazing either way. Although, if I was going to rewatch Bleach, I would say skip the filler. But, watching it the first time, it's fun to watch it all. So, let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. And stay tuned for more videos coming soon. And everyone have a great day. So, take care.